Welcome to Cupcake Math with Miss Tracy. I baked 354 cupcakes. What do you know about long division? I want to share these 354 cupcakes between my two schools. That means I need to divide these cupcakes by 2. There are some steps I want you to remember. When you are completing a long division question, write these 4 symbols on the top of your page. Divide, multiply, subtract, down arrow. There's a fun, catchy song for this as well. Divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Now let's use these steps to figure out how I can divide these cupcakes by 2. I have the number 354 and I want to divide it by 2. That means to take 354 and split it into 2 groups. I start by writing 354 below the divide symbol and write the 2 on the outside. Throughout this long division, I'm always going to come back to that outside digit. In this case, it's a 2, because that's the number I'm using to divide. I'm going to start by looking at the first digit only under that dividing symbol. In this case, it's that 3. I want to use the outside digit, the 2, and see how many times that 2 can fit into that first digit, which is that 3. So in this case, how many times can 2 go into 3? Another way of looking at this is if I worked at a bakery and my boxes were able to fit 2 cupcakes per box each. I want to know how many boxes can I fill. This time I'm using the number 3. How many full boxes can I make of cupcakes with only 3 cupcakes to start with? Take that 3 and try to see how many groups of 2 can fit into it. Only 1 can go in. I take that 1 and I write it directly above that first digit, the 3. My next step will be to do the multiplying, but it's going to be with the number I just wrote down before I even lift my pencil. I wrote that number 1 on the top, and I use that 1, and I'm always coming back to the outside digit. In this case, it's a 2. My next step, multiply. I take that 1 I just wrote down, and I multiply it by the outside number 2. And my answer, 1 times 2, is 2. I write that 2 directly below the 3. My third step will be to subtract. 3 take away 2 is 1. I am left with a 1 at the bottom. My last step is to bring down the next digit. I already used that 3, so we're not looking at that again. And I don't want to look at the 4 yet. My next digit I'm bringing down is a 5. I bring it straight down and place it beside the number 1, and it makes a new number. That's right, now I have the number 15. I start from the very beginning again, using that number 15 at the bottom. The first step is to divide, always looking back at that outside digit. How many times can 2 fit into 15? Another way of looking at it, at that bakery, if I had 15 cupcakes and I need to fill as many boxes as I can, how many boxes would be filled with 2 cupcakes? I can skip count by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Uh-oh, I went too far. You can't go more than the 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That's right, 7 full boxes. I made 7 groups of 2. Where does that 7 go? Yes, directly above the 5 that we just brought down. Now I just wrote the 7. Wait, stop! Before you even pick up that pencil, remember your next step? You are going to multiply the number you just wrote down with your pencil on that paper. You wrote a 7. Always coming back to that outside digit. Our 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. I write the 14 below the 15 and go to my third step, which is to subtract. 15 subtract 14 is 1. My last step is to bring down the next digit. In this case, it's that last digit, the 4. I bring it straight down and make a new number, the number 14. And I start from the very beginning again. What is the first step? Do you remember? Yes. See how many times that 2 can fit into 14. We're always coming back to that outside digit. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Or you can look at skip counting with that too. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I made 7 groups. Where do I write that 7? Do you remember? Yes, directly above the 4 that I had just brought down. But wait, don't move. You just wrote that 7. Remember, your pencil is still touching the paper. You're going to use that 7 and always come back to the outside digit. Our next step, multiply using that 7 and the outside digit. 7 times 2 is 14. I write it at the bottom of the page directly under the other 14. And I go to my next step. The next step, subtract. 14, take away 14 is 0. I leave the 0 under the line. There's nothing left to bring down. So that means my answer is complete. So the answer, 354 cupcakes divided by 2, is written on the top. The answer, 177. Let's try some more. I hope you found this video useful. Watch it again, pause, slow down, rewind. Don't give up, keep practicing. You got this.